Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Still going to figure out this lighting thing. Um, for my friends in the Northeast area, I hope you are dug out and thawed out and preparing apparently for the next storm, which is in a few days. I'm not checking the weather forecast. I'm going to live in denial at least through Friday. And then I'll worry about more snow to come. So, uh, I appreciate you taking the time to check in. Hopefully, I created a little intrigue with our topic tonight of the Latin lesson. No, um, we're not going to learn our Latin vocabulary or read the works of Caesar. Um, Hopefully, the title didn't deter any of my Pope John friends who endured through Sister Giles' class with me. But we are actually going to talk about um, Sister Giles and Latin in high school. So really, this was an example I thought that really helps highlight how the small decisions we make every day can have lasting and sometimes really major impacts, and we may not even realize it. So I share with you this notebook, which, again, lighting, glare. This is from my freshman year of high school. So this notebook is 30 years old, and it was my Latin notebook. And I think the primary reason I kept it was because at the start of class, we said the same prayer. And it was a prayer unlike, it wasn't the Hail Mary and Our Father like I had my CCD students start class with. But it was this other prayer, and it's the only time in life I've ever heard it. And so I held on to it. But it's also kind of a reminder because Latin 1 was tough for me. I was a pretty decent student, but I struggled in that class to the point where my grade was pretty bad. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for her, Sister Giles, our Latin teacher, fell that year, and due to her injuries, she was out of school for a good chunk of the year. And while she was out, Coach Morris was our substitute teacher. Our field hockey coach was also a Latin teacher. So she knew me from hockey and knew I was struggling. And so she helped me get my grade up. With her style, I just seemed to learn better. So I wound up doing okay for the year. So now it's the end of the school, coming to the end of the year, and it's time to pick our classes for sophomore year. And my guidance counselor knew I was struggling. She could obviously see it in my grades and suggested, you know what, Latin will stand on its own, unlike the other foreign languages. So I recommend you just finish out this and then move to Spanish and continue with 2 or 3 years of Spanish. Well, my plan had been 2 years of Latin, 2 years of French. I didn't really want to study Spanish for some reason. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best decision. So I went home and I told my mom what my guidance counselor had said, and I was kind of struggling because I wasn't what my plan was. And my mother made an appointment with my guidance counselor. So I can still picture the meeting, sitting next to my mother across from my guidance counselor. And she again explained the logic, and it was very sound, good guidance. However, my mom took issue because I knew it would be hard work to take on Latin 2, and I was willing to do it. And my mother was not supportive of the notion that someone was encouraging me to walk away from the challenge that I was willing to take on. And while I don't remember her exact words, I do remember her telling that to the guidance counselor. My daughter's willing to do the work. I'm not going to have her walk away from a challenge that she's willing to accept. I'm paraphrasing. So that was a lesson, right? Speak up, and I was taught, take on the challenge. And so Not only did my mother have me assigned to a new guidance counselor that was more in line with the values that she was bringing to my upbringing, I also wound up not only taking Latin 2, but Latin 3. I've kept this book for that very reason as a reminder that something that was so hard here, I continued with for 2 more years. Now, granted, don't ask me a thing in Latin. I can identify it, but I can't speak it. Sister Giles would gladly shout from her grave that Virginia had poor diction in a non-spoken language. However, there was a huge learning and lesson there. Not only did my mother support me taking on the challenge, sophomore year, I got the Latin award at the academic banquet. That wouldn't have happened. Now, I admittedly don't think that has any value on my resume or my career experience. It certainly didn't get me a job, but it did in the sense of it reinforced my willingness to do the work. And when you do the work, there's recognition. And that value has carried me to the levels of success I've had professionally. So, well, I know my mom didn't sit and debate, oh, what should I tell my daughter to do? How should I handle this situation so that she 30 years from now is making good decisions? I'm pretty sure my mom's reaction was, she's not going to have the same experience I had. That's why I sent her to this school. My mom kind of just got pushed through the school system. They knew her mom was sick and she had to go home to take care of her well-being. And they knew my mother had an older brother who would go to college, and then there wouldn't be money for my mom to go. So it was take home ec, take work study so you can get out early, just meet your requirements, get your diploma, and move on with life. And that was not what my mom wanted. And so I'm pretty sure the guidance of just quit Latin and try something different, it was too hard for you, kind of triggered those feelings that my mom had for regret in the way she was guided through high school. Hence, keep in mind, my mom was cleaning houses at night to be able to pay the tuition to keep me in a school that was going to get me into college, because that was the whole goal. That was the goal my whole childhood was, you will go to college. What I did when I got there and what I do after, there was no plan for. That was as far as the plan went. And so everything my mother did was about making that goal. And when I picked my classes as a freshman that I laid out for 4 years, it was to meet that goal. And so when there was a suggestion that we deviate, it got some attention. So yeah, I learned 3 years of Latin. I learned from sister. I still can remember her saying, I don't know why Caesar did this, because his writings were not grammatically correct. And we're pretty sure Caesar was taught by sister. So other than that, and that moment of you're not walking away from a challenge. And to be honest, as I sit here and look back over the last 30 years, I can't remember when I walked away from a challenge since then. You know, even when my mom died, the farm was on the verge of foreclosure. Yeah, she had been served foreclosure notices. I had to figure out how to come up with the money to stop the foreclosure. That wasn't easy. The easy way out would have been, F it. Let me take the things I want out of the house that have sentimental value to me and just walk away. But I didn't. I tried to make sure that family members got anything that was of importance to them. I managed to settle all of mom's debts, taxes, the foreclosure, anybody else she owed, and still keep a portion. As a matter of fact, I kept her favorite part of the farm, and it now self-supports. It doesn't make money, but it doesn't cost me money to keep, and that hadn't been the case my entire life. Had my mother said, yeah, take the easy way out, my family might not have any part of that farm left. So in that moment, her reaction and her handling of somebody trying to say, take the easy way out, she taught me to speak up, to push myself. Again, you're willing to do the work, go do it. I got your back. Don't take the easy way out. That's not the long term key to success. And you know what? Guidance is guidance. It doesn't mean you have to follow it. You have to listen to it and be respectful, but you have to make your own decision. You own your future. So, now that I've shared the story, I hope you gained some insight, not about me and my struggles with Latin, of course, but maybe the next time you've got a similar situation, you'll pause and think, what message am I sending? Who's watching? Is it my kids? Now that we're old enough, my friends, younger family members, coworkers, community, people around you? I'm sure there are people that look up to you and view you as a source of example or respect in some area of life. So when you have these moments, what message are you sending? And what message are you sending to yourself? I played a part in that decision too. At 14 years old, I had a choice. I could rise up to the challenge and do the work to meet my goals, or I could take the easy way out. And because it was tough, I'll go that way where it looks a little easier. And I don't know that I've ever done that. And I'm grateful. I am truly grateful that I continue to take the challenge. I'll do the work. My mother instilled a hard work ethic in me. That's not a problem. So, are you willing to do the work? And are you willing to push yourself to get to those higher goals? If you are, and you're saying, yeah, I just don't know what to do, and your little Latin story didn't tell me, call me, reach out. We'll find the plan together. Whereas I had my mom having my back in that moment to support my decision, I'll have your back in helping you find the right path if you're willing to do the work. So, my friends, with that, I hope you have found some value, and I bid you a nice evening and a moment of rest.